Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's D Styles World. If you're an old subscriber, thank you for coming back, and if you're new here, you're welcome. Stay tuned to see I created this look. First, I'm going to be going in with Mario Badescu setting spray just to hydrate the face. Now I'm just applying my moisturizer everywhere on the face, especially the under eyes. You want to take your time and make sure the moisturizer goes under the eyes properly so you don't have cracks when you start to blend your foundation, concealers, setting powder and the rest. Now I'm going in with my sweat block from Mismetic, using a cotton pad and dabbing around the areas I think she sweats. And now I'm going in with my primer from Mismetic as well. It's their grip primer. And lastly, for prep, I'm going in with my Becca primer. So you want to make sure your hands are very clean to do this process. Just massage it into the skin very well, so when you are blending your foundation there will be no patches. Next, foundation application. So I'm just going to be applying my foundation with a brush, and I'm going back with my Mario Badescu setting spray to help me blend even better. And I'm using a damp beauty blender. Always make sure your beauty blender is damp. Let it not be wet, and it also shouldn't be dry. It should just be damp. The foundation I used here obviously is the V Beauty foundation in the shade Dubai. Can you see how that is just blending into her skin? You want to take your time when you're blending your foundation. Don't be in a hurry, so your skin work can be as flawless as possible. Just dab when you're blending. Don't swipe or drag. Dab throughout. Do not swipe nor drag. Next, I'm going in with the V Beauty's foundation in the shade Nigeria to contour. So I'm just applying that on her tragus area, and I'm just blending that up to her forehead. Now for blush, I'm using the Nuban corrector in the shade 050, and I'm just applying this on the apples of her cheeks, and I'm also blending it upwards towards her forehead. Next, I'm going to be highlighting the under eyes, the nose, the forehead, the cupid's bow and the chin using a concealer. So the first concealer I used is from Bicham Cosmetics. The second is from Beauty by AD. So I'm still going to use my same beauty blender. Make sure it's damp, and then I'm just dabbing to blend. Remember, when you want to blend, you dab. You don't swipe, you don't drag, you just dab. That's the best way you can get a flawless result. So I'm just dabbing around the areas that I applied my concealer. I usually like to start off from the edge before I shift all the way into the middle, just so I can have like a flawless gradient blend. The eyes are usually the last part I blend because I want the concealer to build up a little on her and gain texture, like for it to thicken a bit. Okay, so now I'll be blending my under eye concealer. You want to be careful, so as you're dabbing, you don't dab to enter into her eye. You just have to be gentle. Looks like I'm using too much force, but I am actually not using so much force. I'm very light-handed when I blend, so you want to make sure that you are very light-handed. If not, you would create patches under the eye and everywhere will just begin to crease. so I'm using a different method today to set my highlighted areas that I use the concealer on. I'm just using my translucent setting powder. I mixed the Miracle with the RCMA setting powder, so I'm just going to be putting this everywhere, on everywhere that I highlighted. And before I put under the eye, I have to make sure that I go back with my beauty blender and blend under the eye so I can have a flawless under eye before I put my powder. If you notice there are cracks under your eye, please don't put your powder. Make sure you blend it first before you put your powder. Alright, so next I'm using my Bicham powder palette. I'm taking her shade just to press in that setting powder into her skin, so all the whole white powdery look will just disappear. Remember, always dab, don't swipe or drag. Alright, so now I'm going in with a skin color powder and I'm just going to be setting the entire face. For everywhere you use cream products, make sure to set with a powder just so that your makeup can last all day. Now I'm contouring using a slightly darker powder shade from the Bicham powder palette. And I'm also going to use the same shade to contour her nose. So remember, I like to do my nose contour making a Y shape. So from the eyebrows, I just slant to make my first branch on each side, and then I take it downwards. Now for blush, I'm using the Rios eyeshadow palette from Zickel, and I'm also going to be using the V Beauty Take Me Home eyeshadow palette, that yellow shade there. Now I'm doing a reverse contour immediately after the nose contour and the cheek contour. I like this process because it just makes the effect of my contour more obvious. Now I'm baking using a setting powder from Miracle. I think the name is Curry. Next, I'm going to be using the brown shade from my iMagic lip palette for my eyeshadow base. Now I'm using my Sylvie MAC eyeshadow. I'm just taking that orange shade as my transition color, and now I'm going in with a red shade just to marry in that orange, and I'm taking a brown shade now just to go over the base I used earlier on. It's a very simple and easy look. It doesn't take time at all. It's a brown smoky eye. Now I'm just going with a random brown glitter and I'm lining. That's all for the eyes. Popping your mascara and your lashes, and that's all for the eyes basically. No much drama. I also smoked the under eyes using the same brown shade in the Sylvie MAC eyeshadow palette. Now I'm just dusting off the excess powder underneath, taking out everything, just sweeping it out. And now I'm coating her lashes with mascara. This mascara is from Wink Beauty. I just love this mascara. It gives volume to the lashes. Next, I'm going to be spraying her entire face just so all that powdery look can just melt into her skin. And then now I'm going with my cheek glaze from TM Essential, and now to highlight I'm just using the Tahila palette to highlight. I love their highlighters. It's very gorgeous on the skin and it blends effortlessly. It's not as harsh as other highlighter palettes out there. Now I'm using this loose pigments from Elsa's just to top up my highlighter. For lips now I'm using the Beyond Beauty lip stain in number 16 just to line the top of the lip. I'm giving her kind of like a full lip, so I'm just taking my time to make sure that my lips are well lined. Next I'm going in with a peach looking kind of lip stain. Now I'm going to be blending that peach into the brown lip stain. Okay, first I used the Beyond Beauty in number 26, and then I later went on with the pink shade from my iMagic lip palette. And I'm just going to be using my concealer brush to clean around the edges of the lips so the lips can be looking more defined. Now I feel like the lips are not as full as I want them to be, so I'm just going to be overlining inking slightly. She actually requested for this. Alright, so now I feel like it's overlined enough, and I'm just going to be adding a clear gloss, and I'm using a pink gloss in the middle. And I set the areas that I use concealer to define the lips off camera. Now I'm going to be I'm just going to be laying her edges. I'm using the Got2b gel. I'm just trying to do something on her edges. I'm not really good at this. I just try my best to create something beautiful. Yeah, and that's basically it for this look. I hope you enjoyed. Please give my video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, tell a friend about D Styles World, and I'll see you in my next video. Don't forget to drop a comment. Bye.